once again, I welcome all the participants in week 9, section 2nd. So I have already started week 9. So in the last session, we have discussed about the basic, the idea of the social action. Even in the last whole week, we have discussed about the social action as a method of social work and how it is an auxiliary and important method of social work. From there, we have discussed the principles, tactics, strategies, models, everything. So let's talk about that in this whole week about the further aspect of the social action in general concept of the social action. Right, in general, in common parlance, in general parlance, what in general we can consider social action as. So social action as social reform. So let's have a discussion on how social reform and social action are related to each other and different to each other. So, as by the definition given by the Goret, he defined reform as a deliberate effort to bring about a change in social attitude, culturally defined role expectation, and actual pattern of behavior of people in a desired direction through process of persuasion and public education. He further observed that most social reform movements actually, emanate from the recognition of the dignity of human individuals and therefore the responsibility of the privilege to widen opportunities of life for all segments of the population. So if you actually encapsulate this definition, the essence of social reform or social change, as per this definition, says that the process described focus on shifting social attitudes, role expectations, and behavior pattern through some kind of the persuasion and public education of both the elites and then of or the disadvantaged community. It emphasizes the moral responsibility of the privileged to promote the equality and provide opportunities for all, particularly marginalized communities. That is what the reform, that the reforming the whole attitudes and behavior, so where everyone feel comfortable. So actually social reform refers to the efforts or movements designed to bring about gradual change in societal structure, policies or practices to improve social well-being, whereas it typically targets issues like inequality, injustice, social problems, or any kind of thing through social law, through some changing in some laws and bringing some change in the institutions or in sometimes in the norms even. So the goal of this social reform is to improve the system, and it is ensuring better functioning and addressing specific social issues. So here in a reform aspect or in a movement aspect, which has always been emerged around certain very specific issues. Okay, so just moving ahead. Common features of social action and social reforms. What is the commonality between both? Is that both owe their beginning to dissatisfaction with existing system and values and seek changes in the direction of the social justice. So mainly both are concerned for the kind of the dissatisfaction among the masses around certain existing system. Both appeal to the advantaged to accept the change in order to provide a better deal for the disadvantaged. So both either it is of social action or social reform, both somewhere concerned for bringing change into the mindset and behavior of the haves, or you could say to the advantaged community, so that they could have, they themselves have to participate in the development of the marginalized, as in the best example is Bhudan, right, and Gramdan. So both follow a variety of strategies and tactics to achieve their goal, several of which are common, like mass mobilization has been taken as an important tactics by both. Both have normative ends. And the difference between the social action and social reform is like, actually social reform is about incremental changes, right? And social action can be addressed both immediate and then long-term needs of the disadvantaged community. And it's mainly about the transformation of the social system, right? Depending on the circumstances and goals of the movement. The scope of social action is much wider, whereas reform is only one field of social action. We are concerned for only one aspect. Social reform represent a goal, at least an intermediate one, in the sense that through such reform, the status and situation of people affected will improve. Whereas in social action can be one of the means of achieving this goal. So social action could be a means of achieving the objective of the social movements or social reform. Social reform does not seek total alteration of economic, political, social structure, nor does it rejects them. I mean, sometimes it's also accepted that it seeks amendment or changes in a specific aspect of them in order to actually humanize them. So, concerned about in a social reform only one aspect at a one time. Social action could seek radical changes through or even reject existing system when it amounts to injustice, inequality, or repression and exploitation. Social reform actually aims at improving the situation of affected individuals or groups, but it works within existing economic, political, and social structure, seeking only amendments or change to make those systems more humane for the and became more equitable. In contrast to that, social action can be seen as a means to achieve the desired outcomes of social reform, but it may also include efforts to challenge, disrupt sometime, or transform the entire structure if necessary. Right. This could involve advocacy, mobilization, policy change, community empowerment that we have already discussed so much in detail. So the main actors in social reform may come from social and religious groups, but social action interests can cut across different communities. Or here in the social action, any professional or activists could participate. An important objective of social reform is to consolidate the change through legislation, whereas in the case of social action, legislation may or may not become necessary as the objective, may as well as achieved through non-legislative norms. Sometimes something is in a system that needs to be changed without involving any kind of the legislation and the law and the legality. But in the social reform is about to bring some kind of the changes into some certain policy and some certain aspect of the society which needs some kind of the modification into the policy and then programs. Social action, educational and professional approach. Now let's discuss more specifically about the social action as a professional approach here in the social work, how it has been emerged and has been accepted or rejected sometime in the Indian scenario, in an Indian perspective, or any other developing nation. So social action education in India started by, I'm not talking about the social action, but rather the whole social work education in India has been started laying emphasis on the curative aspect, right? So hence social action as a method of social work actually was not given much space either in the education or in practice, because curative social action major concern is not about the curative, right? It's more about the developmental or reformist or bringing change in the structure and then system. This is not about the cure of the certain issues only, right? So the first review committee, as set up by the University Grants Commission in the year 1965, strangely said that as the objective of social reform has already been achieved, and social workers should get into social services and social welfare functions like attending the needs of the children in orphanages and then drug de-addiction, some kind of that kind of the activities which is some institution based. Right. So according to this committee, so social action has already, and what the kind of social reform has already been taken by the reformists in India. So what now the social worker, the professional, has to take into consideration the welfare and then services activities of and to resolve the issues in and around. So it did not make a mention of social action as a method of social work. However, the veterans in the field of social work, education and practices like Kulkarni, Hassan, Das Gupta, even Nanavati came out strongly against this approach of UGC or the first review committee. In a seminar organized, they have presented their own views in a seminar organized by the Association of Association of Schools of Social Work in India, that is ASSSWI. So this was when they all were talking about and discuss about that the first review committee's statements is not been accepted, as the social action has to be given its due positions in the Indian perspective. So because that's why Kulkarni strongly advocated the commitment of the professional, commitment of the profession to act as a powerful force in the favor of democracy, social justice and social development. And for that, social action is an important approach and methods to be applied. Second review committee on social education in India happened in the 1980. That report stated that Our model of social work practice actually and education was based on industrial, urban, and metropolitan dominant societies. Social work education so was thus based on individual urban based model, means more casework oriented. The late 60s have revealed that industrialization cannot eliminate poverty even from the affluent societies. So it has brought to the fore that global need to emphasize the teaching of social action, social policy, and social administration. Means because of industrialization and then the economic involvement into the development parts, even the change, the situation has not been changed. So for that reason, it has been advocated that it is important and it's a global need to to talk about, to bring into for the development of the society, to talk about the social policy, social action, social administration is so much required, since it is the social milieu and not only the individual that is the major client of the profession. So only the client is not the individual is not the client of the social work, rather its environment is also the client of the social work. So overall, if you look into this whole second review committee's statement, so this committee actually emphasized the importance of shifting the focus of social work education to include social action, social policy, and social administration, because the broader social environment, not just individual, is the main focus and then concern of the profession. Here, Siddiqui also in the opinion that the changing characteristic of social worker, together with the recognition of the work and the market situation for social work, have led to the marginalization of social action as a method of social work. It has not been given its due position. And given these, actually trends, he feels that social action as a method will remain on the periphery rather than become a central method that need to be, discuss more on it and then, research more on this social action approach. In the quest to attain professional status, social work had to face a dilemma of finding the compatibility between social work, which could play conformist role, and then social action, which demanded as a confrontalist role. So that is what the conform to existing system, and another that called for the confrontation and social change. Hence, very often than not, the process of professionalization of social work led to the weakening of social action as a method, as what the Siddiqui has actually observed. So, social action, with its dynamism and passion for pro-people change, could be act as a transformative forces in the interest of professional social work. It could enable social work to renew the commitment of human rights and social justice, and also effectively face the challenges of new liberal globalization. Right? So, anti-oppressive ideology and then radical social workers needs social actions, a proactive position into its approach. So the pursuit of professional identity in social work has brought both challenges and opportunities, especially in balancing the conformist aspect as well as of the profession with the confrontational demand of the social action has to taken into consideration. Acknowledging the important social action within the field of social work, as mentioned by Jacob, emphasize that social workers are uniquely positioned to lead efforts in the social action, serving as central figure who actually bring people together for collective action and positive change. By embracing social action, social work can actually reinforce its role as a transformative force. What show? Advocating for meaningful reform and improvement to socio-economic condition, what the K.K. Jacob has mentioned. Similarly, Kulkarni in 1967 argues that in developing countries, social action must come before traditional social work to create the condition for effective change. For India, proactive social action is essential to address challenges posed by globalization and external influences, fostering an environment where social work can thrive. So we have already witnessed that how we actually got our independence because of many movements and that social action, activism and all. So again, after this whole globalization and liberalization, where the situation is somehow became similar, where the gap between and has not been has been enhanced, and there are a lot challenges challenges has been coming out and posed by the globalization, right? And then the market and then economy is became in the hand of few strong capitalist, not only of the same country but sitting somewhere under another country, actually that governed and been ruled the economy of some other country because of this globalization and liberalization happened, right? So here again, as per Kulkarni has mentioned, that again after this whole globalization, that because of this external influences, we need some kind of the social action methods so that we can bring some kind of the we can bring some equality into the society because of this globalization, that the inequality that emerged, and that became the part and parcel of this whole globalization and privatization and liberalization. Now, after discussing about the social action from the educational perspective and from the professional perspective, let's see and discuss some of the social action in India which has happened in past, and how the nature of the social action has been changed in India. So, social action in India encompasses a wide range of initiatives, movements, and strategies aimed at addressing social, economic, political issues to promote justice, equality, and development. It involves both grassroots efforts by communities and actually organized efforts by NGOs, civil society organization, and any individual activist. Social action in India has thus been a dynamic and evolving process, reflecting the country's complex and social fabric and diverse challenges. It continues to adapt to new issues and actually leverage various strategies to promote social justice and development. Key aspect of social action in India which has been adopted. Advocacy and right-based approach is one. This right-based approach is integral part of social action in India. So often focus on this advocating for the right of marginalized groups like the Dalits, the women, Adivasi, indigenous group, even the LGBTQ, which has been the new trending community who asked for their own rights. So activities and activists and organizations work to ensure that these groups have access to the education, healthcare, legal protection, and whatever the rights they ask for. Grassroots mobilization is another, approach and aspects of the social action in India. So community-based organization and local movements mobilize people at grassroots level. Then, after this whole mobilization, this social action could be possible to address issues such as the rights, water access, land rights, environmental conservation, so on and so forth. So these movements often use non-violent protest, where the NGOs has been involved, or many other civil societies has been involved, public demonstrations and community organization as their main strategy. This is what through the grassroots mobilization done by some agency or by supported by some civil societies. Policy and legal advocacy is another important aspect of social action in India, where many social action initiatives aim to influence policy and legislations. This include lobbying for new laws, amending existing ones, and ensuring the proper implementation of policies related to social justice and development. So that's what we have witnessed during the CENRC, the kind of the people's mass mobilization, and then people's ask for, if they don't like it and they asked for the justice, and the things has to be done according to their own demands. So that is what a legal advocacy was there. Social and economic development, efforts to improve living conditions through sustainable development practices including education, healthcare, livelihood programs, and infrastructure development. These initiatives actually often involves collaboration between NGOs, government agencies, and international organizations. Environmental and climate action is again a new aspect, a new area to be discussed and to be taken into consideration by the social worker and so by the social activist. So activists and organizations work on issues related to environmental conservation, climate change, and sustainable development. This include campaigns against deforestation, pollution, and large-scale industrial projects that threaten ecosystem and local communities. So, in the policy and legal advocacy, we can also, given the example of how this Delhi government has odd and even, the rules they have drawn this rule for to just to save the climate on the reduce the pollution. Need not to discuss about how much it was successful or failure, but the initiative was good to protect the actually secure against the pollution. Evolution of social action in India. So if you look into the traditional form of social action in ancient and medieval India, so how the whole forms have been changed after understanding what kind of the social action in the present day we have been followed, and since the time immemorial we have been followed. So this traditional forms of social action in ancient and medieval India, or is actually social action is in part and parcel of Indian society, because we are since that in our history we have seen that how our religious text and then all the history says that how we were concerned about the equality and social justice and human rights, although later on this whole caste system has actually created some issues and actually divided the society. That's true, but even though there are a lot other positive aspect of our religious text, and then our society has actually been there to support each other. So this supporting to each other is actually, and looking for others' welfare is the part and parcel of our Indian society. So social action in ancient India we look at often guided by religious and then moral principles found in texts like in the Vedas, Upanishad, this teaching of Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Hinduism, Islam, even of the Parsis, who just name any religion which is the part of the Indian society and culture. Every religion talks about this whole equality and then social justice and all. So even the philanthropy is the part of every religion, and community services and helping the marginalized were deeply integrated into daily life, with social welfare structured through temples and religious institutions like the Gurudwara, how it serves to their societies, how this Waqf board actually giving the economic support to the underserved communities. So there's a lot this kind of the civil societies or the religious backed civil societies are there since the time immemorial, and it's a part of the Indian society. So this traditional form of social action in ancient and medieval India was often guided by all these kind of the religious and the moral teaching of different religion. Reform movements, when you talk about is an organized, before coming to the different reform movements, as we have talked about that social action in ancient medieval India, usually it is more about the reform movements. So before coming to the different reform movements, let's first little discuss about what is reform movement. So reform movements are organized collective efforts working towards achieving changes. All social movements actually have an ideology to identify what is wrong and what is present and what needs to be done in the future, right? So social movements are a type of group action for changing problematic situation, that is the same as the social action. They are large, sometimes informal groupings of individuals, organizations which focus on a specific political or social issues, maybe sometimes political or sometimes social issues, and sometimes it's a political, socio-political issues. So a social movement can also be organized to oppose certain course of action, while the focus of some social movements is on the making incremental changes to the status quo. What is the objective of the social action as well? The ultimate goal of others may be to create a wholly a new social order. That is again a goal of social action. So reform movements are those that seek to improve things and then social order, whereas revolutionary movement seeks to change things radically. So there's a little difference between reform and reform movements and then the revolutionary movements, right? Religious reform movements are another kind of the reform movements where the Bhakti movements could be included. Wahhabi movements is there, and there are other among the Hindus. There are many religious movements for has been happened. So governmental reform movements has also been there. Then revolutionary social movements are only. These are some few examples of the reform movements. So now coming to after understanding what is the movements or reform movements, let's see that what are the different nature of the movements has been taken into place in our country. So we could start with the Bhakti movement. So during the medieval period, Bhakti and Sufi movements emerged as emphasizing the equality and advocating for against caste hierarchies and social exclusion. So the issues and the evils of that time of the society has been so much captured by these Bhakti and Sufi movements. But saints like Kabir and social reformers such as the Basava in Karnataka called for unity, tolerance and social cohesion, leading to our first recorded instances of organized social action against caste discrimination and oppression. Right? So what is this Bhakti movement is about? Is actually a spiritual social reform movement. In medieval India it happened. So emphasizing personal devotions to the god over ritualistic practices. So as in the general religion, in all religions, so giving so much importance to the rituality and rituals aspect. But Bhakti movement and the Sufi movement says that you just have to connect to the god, need not to bring any things in between. So connecting to the god and believing that believing in everyone's equal position was an important aspect of Bhakti movement. So actually the Bhakti movement which emerged in India between the 7th and then 17th centuries promoted devotions to a personal, to a god as a path to spiritual liberation, bypassing rigid caste hierarchies and orthodox practices associated with any religion. Bhakti saints like Kabir, Mirabai, Tukaram emphasized equality, compassion, and direct connection with the divine, challenging the social norms that actually reinforced caste and class divides. So concern was actually bringing the equality, harmony, inclusivity into the society.